So, hello everyone. Welcome to Thomas Sessions. This is a new segment that we call book review, wherein, of course, as a bartender, one of the things that never stops is learning. And one way that we learn is through reading books. And of course, I hope with this segment, this will give you more or less an idea of a book that you might purchase. And uh, with my insight, of course, I'm not really professional when it comes to evaluating books. But then again, I'm just going to give you a summary or maybe an impression of what a book that I've read is all about. Now, now, of course, for the first book, what better way to review than my first ever bartending book? Oh, di ba? So, my first ever bartending book. Now, I remember, I think it was 1999 or 1998, wherein I bought a book entitled The Art of Bartending. The Art of Bartending. So, if you notice, this is really since. Oh, let's take a look actually at the. Of course, I'm gonna give you my honest to goodness real time uh, evaluation or my summary of this one. Okay, printing history 1997, all rights reserved 1997. So yan, this is really a book that I did buy. It's fresh from the oven when it was published 97. I bought it right away 1999. Okay, and well, one of the main reasons I bought this is, of course, if you notice, the size is pretty handy. It's like a handbook. Okay, it's like a handbook. You know, I was actually glad that this is still here with me because we had two major floods in the span of what since 1998. So it's still alive and it's still pretty much readable. So the author, okay, it says here, The Art of Bartending. This is a complete guide for professionals and enthusiasts. The author is Mark Barrett. So if Mark Barrett is still alive, I've actually checked Facebook. I don't really know who Mark Barrett is, but if you can read or you can watch this, please give me a ring. Thank you very much. This is my first actual book for bartending. Now, where is this? Oh, okay, actually, I still have a piece of the front page here. It says the spills, the tips, and the I even forgot the lots. Yeah, or the toys. Oh wait, sorry, the joys. Huh? The joys of bartending. Okay, so The Art of Bartending by Mark Barrett. Now, where is this published? So, like I said, 1997. It was it's printed in USA, all right, and it was printed in New York, Madison Avenue, by Berkeley Books. So, of course, one thing here is New York is really like the center, the heart of bartending. Well, that is why imagine 1997, 1998, 99. And then I was fortunate enough to go to New York between 2016 to 2018, I think. And yeah, there are really lots of books there. And then there's Cocktail Kingdom. That's the store for all things bartending. It's on the fifth floor, if I'm not mistaken. I bought a couple of bar tools there. I bought a book in their Barney and Noble, I think, or something like that. It's like their own national bookstore or their own what do you call this? Well, their own brand of bookstore. Now, what can you see here? Oh, it says here this book is dedicated to my mother, Eleanor Barrett. Right. Um, Also, this book wouldn't have happened without the work of Jessica Foss, a true professional who must have been an expert surgeon in another life, and Gertrude Bregman, who tells it like it is. So, of course, the dedication or the acknowledgement is also very important. Now, if we go to the table of contents, we do have 16 table of contents after the foreword. It is about all about liquors, all about liqueurs, beers, tackles about wine, fruits, juices, tools of the trade, typical bar layout, types of drinking establishments, landing a bartending job, which a lot of us now are actually pivoting, or no, not really that, but a lot of people are really interested now to go back to bartending. And then you have, once you step behind the bar, above and beyond the basic drinks, what should I order? Magics and tricks, jokes, trivias, and glossary, or the bartender slang, no, which is very important for a bartender. All right, now, a professional bartender, a true doctor of mixology, knows how to make hundreds of different drinks. This is actually, even before I already had a highlight, on this book. So yes, obviously that's one of the first things I remembered about this book, especially when it comes to being a bartender. You have to be knowledgeable on your drinks. But of course, reality wise, it's impossible to memorize 100 drinks off the bat. That's why the saying learning never stops is really there, because unless you have a photographic memory, or you're an Android or your Siri, then you know your drinks. Now it also says here, so in the forward part, that they earn good income, they have a lot of fun while working. Kaya that's why there's a saying that bartending is the best job in the world. You don't even have to, well, you don't actually work, but you earn while you're working because you're having fun. Now let's go to all about liquors. Now this is well, of course, being a handbook type book, you can actually, this is actually loaded with information, basic information, like definition of liquors, you know, and it also shows us different brands. Although one thing about this book is that it's all text. There are illustrations like a martini glass here, but during the time, um, of course, let me just read a few brands that was mentioned. Kahlua, right? That's one, and then there's also Gordon's, Beefeater, Tanqueray. At the time, you have to research what those brands are, because you're just reading letters basically. This is how, and the print. The print is like a newsprint. So budget wise, I don't even remember how much this is, but I think I bought this in National Bookstore in Cubao. Here it says $6 for the US. So that's what, during the time, it's not even 50 pesos. It's how much? Year 2000. I think during that time it's just 30 or 40 pesos. So this is only what, 200 pesos, 250. So it was really a steal. There, and then, so basically, course, it goes through all the spirits. It even at the time, it already touched on rye whiskey, bourbon whiskey. The never-ending debate about Tennessee versus bourbon, and then Scotch whiskey. Although here it's really very basic. It just touched. It says here unblended or single malt. So unlike now, over the years, I found out that single malt is really a very technical topic, when it comes to that part of liquors. And here also, tequila, um, there wasn't, it's really not as deep. In fact, during the time, it was only Jose Cuervo, as mentioned here. But then again, there's mezcal, you know, and even the blue agave, the towns where they're made, it's not touched here, because, like I said, it's really very basic. Irish whiskey also is just actually a two-sentence description. Cognac, and then chapter two about liqueurs, Liqueurs, pronunciation, and then like here, actually, this would come in handy if you want to memorize it, because it says here the type of liquor and then the flavor, which is all you really need to know. But then again, as you advance, as you go deep into it, then there's the brand. Then there's really the expression. But in a nutshell, this actually has a good list of liquor brands, and of course their flavor. Now, next, chapter 3 is beer. So it has different definitions of the style, well, different styles of beer that was mentioned, from lager to ale. But then again, over the years, fast forward 2022, there are a lot of craft beer brewers here again. There's a trivia way back 98, 99. There were two brewers. There were two breweries. One is called the Brew Brothers, and I think there's another one in between Mega Mall and Shangri-La Mall. I forgot the name, but those are the breweries before, which makes ales. But of course, it wasn't we Pinoys weren't ready yet at the time, so that didn't really fly. But there was this man by the name of Jim Araneta, who really started, I believe, based on how I witnessed bartending or lived bartending here. He kind of promoted or kind of did a crusade on craft beers. And yeah, after that, everybody followed suit. And now, by some, I mean, it's nice to know that even in my hometown, there is a craft beer already. There's like two of them, and then in per city, there's actually a brewer, and that is also one of the wish list or bucket list that I want to do, and that is to brew my own beer someday. Okay, so chapter 4, this one is about wine. So, at the time, I remember it was only Two Oceans and Gato Negro, that were really moving, and then the Wolf Blast, I don't know, yeah, and then the Hardee's. Again, this is really just basic knowledge on wines. It also touched fortified and even Madeira. No, but wine is actually a very broad topic too. Uh, I do have a friend here in my hometown by the name of Engelbert or Eagle. He is one of the top sommelier, um, I would say, sommeliers who do conduct classes. I also conduct basic classes for wines, wine tasting, wine seminars. Now, in fact, at the back, you see, this was my school before. It had a good run from 2017 to 2021. We had to close, for obvious reasons. The pandemic was just too disrupting. But yeah, we still can conduct private or small classes for those who are interested and who are watching this video right now. So chapter 5, we go to fruits, juices, and other ingredients. This is like the essential, you know, essentials in every bar. One of the essentials that says here, of course, this is US based. Once upon a time, cocktail onions was really scarce here in the Philippines. Or maybe at the time I don't know where to look, but now it is being used, and even you'll be amazed that even herbs, spices, even kaffir leaves, even dried ingredients, dried flowers are here, blue pea, the hibiscus, you know. So it's interesting to see how things have grown since 1998. Yeah, juices and juice mixtures. In fact, once upon a time, lemon mix or sour mix was very popular for the bar. Just a simple, uh, once upon a time, it was just Sunquick and water. plus a little bit of sugar. That's it. Sometimes it's just powder and water. That's it. And then the Tetra bricks came in, and then now actually fresh. It's going back to fresh, and then there's also this thing called citric acid. All right, and then yeah, so the half and half. That's a bar term, meaning half cream and half milk. Also, yeah, Angostura bitters, 98. But like I said before, it wasn't really. It's hard. It's hard to find. Angostura bitters was hard to find in the Philippines, but now not only is there Angostura bitters, there's also Angostura rum, and there are a lot of bitters available. The bitter truth, scrappy, name it. It's here already. You know. Okay, so tools of the trade. So we have the basic bar tools that you need. It discusses that basic. Well, even toothpicks and the sword picks for you to use for your garnish. Yeah, it's your bar towel or bar rag, which is very important. I remember for some reason there was a bar that I went to that they don't even have a rag. They just have a napkin, a bar napkin. That's what they use to wipe things off. Which I don't know. That's a different. It's kind of weird, but yeah, a bar towel or a bar rag is very essential. Now also here, soda system. Once upon a time, the soda gun was really used a lot. But now, of course, I don't know if this is true 100%, but since the mechanism of the soda gun is quite difficult when it is uh, it needs repairs. That's why it's not as popular here anymore as it was during this time, during this decade, 97, 98, 2000. All right, then the beer system, we still have it until now. And then the different glasswares, you can read it here. Bar layout, okay. Now, I won't be discussing this anymore because, well, like you can look at the back anyway. So, your layout, bars have different designs, but as if you really want to make your own bar or if you're going to be a consultant, you have to know the the movements, the steps, the end user. One of the things that is neglected upon when it comes to bar design is the height, and because this is very important because uh, if you don't consider the height of your bar, chances are that will result to injury, just like back pains and stuff like that, or maybe even scoliosis. So there's such a term called ergonomics, which I think it wasn't really discussed here. But again, this is just a handbook. So let's continue. Um, then there is, yeah, tools of the trade. Yeah, plastic juice bottles and rack. This also has evolved over time. Ideally, now we use glassware or glasses or jars as compared to plastics, but of course, others still use it. Well, unfortunately, that's because of budget, budget reasons. But then again, if you want really to be more hygienic, more what do you call this, elegant, so glass or stainless is the way to go. Okay, so after the bar layout, chapter 8 discusses about or discuss about types of drinking establishment. Now, here this is very. I mean, I've used this for my seminars even until now, but this has evolved because it although it was pretty amazing if a bar can actually maintain its concept. But over the years, it's really a fusion. It's really a combination of different concepts. You really have to stick to your guns if you want a concept that defines you, or you will have that kind of reputation. Like, for example, for this one, cobbler is a shoemaker. or a cobbler is a cocktail, cobbler is a dessert. So ideally, this bar that I put up uh, should have shoes all around, and but if you notice also at the back, the ceiling is high because I wanted to depict the concept of a warehouse, where the shoes are made, you know. But like I said, it's kind of difficult sustaining a concept, especially with I would say the crowd. At the end of the day, uh, the drinking culture or the drinking population is not as much as the whole population. Maybe in the Philippines, those who really appreciate cocktails, it's only maybe 10% of the total population, maybe 15, something like that. And that is also a population of those who go to bars and want a decent cocktail. Okay, I'm not talking about those who go to bars and just drink beer, or those who go to 7-Eleven and buy beers, or those who simply just stay at home and drink. So this wasn't discussed here, but then again, for beginners, this is something that you can read so that you would have an idea of the different establishments. Now, here, next chapter 9, landing a bartending job. So they do have a 7-step approach. Okay. Let me read step 5 for you. Develop the right mental attitude before approaching any establishment. You must overcome your lack of confidence and outright fear. Okay. So that's true. Uh, at the end of the day, it's all about preparation. You don't go to battle. I always say this: you don't go to battle not prepared. You don't go to battle without bullets. You don't go to battle without a plan. Okay. And then it says here bartending school. Okay. Well, we're proud to say that we're actually the first full service bartending school here in Manila at the time. As you can see, you know, um, obviously we wanted the students to have an idea of really what brands are available in the present, and not just local, even those imported or international brands. And then working your way up. It says here that the want ads, friends and relatives, talking to them, maybe they can refer you. And then landing a bartending job after you have experience. Okay, so this is really a good read for beginners and those who are just starting. Because, let me just tell you, nowadays it's easy to, well, how do you call it? People nowadays just look for a bartender even after graduation. Not unlike before, during my time, I have to start from the bottom, which we call the bar back, or the entry level, which we call the bar back. And believe me, that's the best position, because if you're not a bar back, then you won't know all these things. Okay, but you're required to. Of course, obviously, if you're a professional bartender, it's understood that you know these things. But for a bar back, you're really required, because by the time the bartender comes, everything has to be set. Now, chapter 10, once you step behind the bar, so of course, the first thing discussed is knowledge, then style. So, uh, yeah, I'll leave that to you guys if you want to read on this. And then speed, all right. What else? Mental conditioning. Don't forget the customer. This is one thing that I've noticed with some of the bars that I've been to, that proactiveness has disappeared in some ways, and people are, well, some of the bar staff are passive now, meaning you will have to call their attention, uh, and not the other way around. So I think it's, well, yes, it's training, but then again, it's also all about the person. If you really care for the guest or just the money. It also says here etiquette, gossip. Okay, now gossip. Well, of course, this is 1998, 1997, and until now, it's really not good to talk about gossip, or you gossip about another guest. Another thing that I want to share is politics. You don't discuss politics. Okay, politics, religion, and even sex or sexual preference or race, you don't discuss that. Okay, that will lead you to conflict. At the end of the day, a bartender should be neutral. Okay, so shutting people off. No, until this time, this is really hard. There's a training about this for responsible service of alcohol. Because, at the end of the day, especially for the Philippines, uh, our main goal is to sell, and to make money for the business. But of course, I know for a fact that this has changed over time. People are now becoming more responsible. But then again, there's still a few that needs to be reminded. So this is a good read. Bartender Mystique. Okay. And then chapter 11, above and beyond. Above and beyond. So here, reading the customer. So this is what I was saying also about being proactive, uh, and even remembering names, uh, remembering what the guest orders, the preference of the guest, how he would like to be served with this cocktail, straight up, on the rocks, with salt, without salt, with lime, with lemon, all the details. Okay. And then we go to the main topic, which is the basic drinks. Now, even during this time, they started off with martinis and Manhattans. Because actually, even though you see that martinis only has two ingredients, gin and dry vermouth, it's easy, but at the same time, it's easy to mess up. And there are a lot of ways to serve this. In the same way that there are a lot of ways to cook or serve meat. You know, extra dry, very very extra dry, sweet, 50-50, perfect martini, and all these things. So, you know, it's you need to research more. Or if you are caught on the spot, it's best to ask, and not pretend that you know. All right. Now, also takes us to highballs, basic juice drinks. Yeah, they had a way of categorizing this. In fact, one of the well, two of the cocktails that I won't forget here in this book is the Cape Codder and the Woo Woo. Okay, it says here frozen drinks also, uh, and then the Bloody Mary. Now, chapter 13, what should I order? So, as a professional bartender, you will often be confronted with a customer who doesn't really know what to order. So, of course, you have to rely on descriptors or adjectives. If they want something fruity, do they want something strong, something sweet, something sour? Do they want something creamy? So this book shows you cocktails that is under that category, or something hot. Okay, so and then next, wow, bartender's magic tricks and puzzles. So this is something that you can also check. They actually use here matchsticks, toothpicks, matchboxes. Um, what else? Actually, I remember. Well, I do have the magic thumb. That's also a very good bar trick that you can have. You can buy it. I think you can buy it at Lazada or Shopee now. Though I forgot where I bought mine, but no, I remember in Santa Lucia, that's here near my place, in the third floor before the escalator, there used to be a magic shop there, and that's where I would buy my props. You know. All right. Next, then there's this bartender jokes. Now the thing here is, guys, always remember they have a different humor as compared to uh, other nationalities. And that's one thing that you have to understand. Now, for this one, if you're going to read this, you have to really read it and try to understand it, um, for you to be able to deliver. But if not, then that's okay. You watch a movie, you see the joke, the punchline, and then try to practice. At the end of the day, always expect. Don't be shy on communicating under English language. As you notice, I've been communicating the English language since I started, with a few inserted local, or my local dialect, which is Tagalog, uh, simply because this is the medium of instruction and this is the way to go, especially for bartenders, working behind the bar. And then there's a trivia or a quiz, which is good, to test all the things that you. How many items is this? Wait, let me take a look. Yeah, and there's even, okay, on 40 points. And there's an answer key at the back, right? So this is cool. And then last but not the least, glossary of bartender slang. Okay? Bada boom. It says here. After you insult a customer, whether accidentally or on purpose, say bada boom and smile, that will get you out of it. Okay? I don't use bada boom. But well, I mean, you don't have to insult a guest. So I don't, some of the things here, although this is a very good handbook that can recommend to you, but you don't have to believe everything that you read here. Okay. As I said, a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have progressed. And you have your own mind too. You know what is right and wrong. You can go to different bars here, the Philippines, here in your country, and try to observe how bartenders roll. Maybe the last part here. Mark Barrett has tended bar in such noted establishments as Great Gatsby's in Boston, Chi Chi's in Harvard Square, Legal Seafood in Cambridge, one of the most celebrated seafood restaurants in America. He's currently taking a break from bartending to work on the Bartender's Encyclopedia of Jokes. Wow. So, yeah. And then at the back, it says like they give you again like a summary. So at least when you actually check this out in the bookstore, you'll see the front and the back. It's actually really uh, uh, worth reading. In fact, if you can see, the iconic glass or symbol for bartending is the martini. So he used it here. All right. So yeah, but to be honest with you, I think there are still books like this. Well, you can still buy this online. But here locally, I don't think so. Right? So, but yeah, The Art of Bartending, this is my first book, and it's still alive. I bought this 1998, 1999. So, that ends my first book review. I do hope, well, by the way, if you were able, or if you're still watching until now, please do hit the subscribe button and click on the like. And of course, if you have comments, if you want me to give a review on a certain book that you've read, and if I do have it, and why not, you know? And also, please, we are also in Facebook and in TikTok and in Instagram. So, of course, to end this book review, I would like to say here at Thomas Sessions, we go by the core values of be inspired, be informed, and be involved. So, with that, we'll see you on the next episode. Toma na!